Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another mildly interesting video where, as it turns out, waiting for disaster to end does not make it end at all. When the apocalypse first started, I was actually notified by a group of hunters that there's a group of hunters trying to hunt me down to trap me into some sort of Hunger Games scenario. Now, I could actually watch the Hunger Games movies, but quite frankly, I don't really believe that Haruhi has 23 other people to abduct to play this game of hers, so we are gonna have to go with the other method. Anyone up for some bribing? This is not gonna help you make money. Trick question, what genre do you branch out to when you've spent your almost entire filmmaking career making violent movies and biopics of other people? Sex! And that's what Martin Scorsese did with The Wolf of Wall Street. One of the wildest, most funniest, and most crazy movies that I have ever seen. It's pretty much just anarchy galore when it comes to the stock market. Now honestly, at first I wasn't really that interested in it because honestly, it's about stocks, why would I be interested in stocks? But my friend just kept raving about it, and honestly, now that I've seen the entire film, I really love it. It's one of the funniest and the most wild films I have personally ever seen, and honestly, it's a really amazing watch. So let's not waste any more time and actually talk about this film. Part 1, the visuals. You're actually able to see everything, which is not that high of a bar to cross in my opinion, but the way that they edit and cut the film, it keeps the momentum of the film going forward. You're constantly engaged with the entire movie, and there's not a single scene that gets boring. That's largely because of the character's part, but the visuals also help in a way. The way that they cut back and forth and the way that they move the camera around, it keeps it moving forward. You're always constantly interested and immersed in the film. Then again, this is Martin Scorsese we're talking about, one of the OGs of cinema, so that's probably not that high of a bar to cross for him. Part 2, the audio. I don't really remember a lot of the music that they play. I just know like they didn't have like one specific soundtrack. And from my experience, the music actually fit the movie really well. Every single time that a music piece was used, it was always really well matched with the scene that was happening right now. It really made them way more interesting than before. And honestly, I think I would prefer that music over its own soundtrack. It definitely keeps things interesting. Part 3, the characters. Let's start off with Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays Jordan Belfort in this film. He is spectacular. He is full of extras, he's full of extravagance, and he was able to bring his own accent into the film so naturally. Yes, I was also surprised when I found out he actually faked an accent for this film, this 3-hour film. And he was able to make it so natural as well. It's like that is his actual voice. Like, that's incredible. Every single scene that he was in, he chewed it, he owned it. He was spectacular, he brought a lot to the table. He was incredibly entertaining, he was incredibly funny, but he was also able to show real emotion whenever required. There's also Jonah Hill in the film, and he was incredible as well. He brought his own style of humor and extravagance into the film, and honestly, he portrayed it incredibly well. He was extremely entertaining as well. And lastly, we have to talk about Margot Robbie. Apparently, this is Margot Robbie's first Hollywood film. Previously, apparently she was in an Australian TV show or something. So like, this is her first film, and she owned it incredibly well. She had an Australian accent, but she was able to fake an American accent incredibly well. She had amazing chemistry with Leonardo DiCaprio as well, whether it was between the happy moments or the sad, tense moments. It was incredible acting that she brought to the table, and considering that this is her first job in Hollywood from what I've seen, it's really impressive, and I'm really glad that she's able to grow up into a much bigger actor with Barbie and everything. Part 4, the plot. There's not really much of a set plot, it's more so like a character development story for Jordan Belfort. Essentially, all his life, Jordan Belfort wants to be one thing: get rich and have lots of money, which is basically the same two things, but just keep that in mind. And the film shows him trying to gain as much of this wealth as possible while spending a huge amount of it on ridiculous, extravagant stuff. It is absolutely insane, but it also shows the toll that it takes on his family when he marries Naomi later on in the film. Considering that this is a 3-hour film, you might consider a character journey like this to become boring, but with everything that we talked about before, whether it's the acting performances, the way that it's cut, and the extravagance of it overall, it never gets boring for 1 second. Honestly, considering that this is actually based off a true story, I would be interested to see what Rami Malek brings to the table, because in my opinion, Jordan Belfort looks more similar to Rami Malek rather than Leonardo DiCaprio. I think that would be incredibly interesting to see what he would bring to the table. Although considering that I've seen him in Mr. Robot and a little bit in No Time to Die, I don't think that it's gonna play out that well. Yeah, that did not help me make any money at all. And the others out there? How did they find me? Wait, did they just stay on the ground? Huh, that would actually be a pretty good distraction to take all the money that I earned to bribe those people. Are you kidding me?